Hello everyone, my name is Alex Honchar. I'm co-founder and CTO at Neurons Lab. And in this video, I would like to talk about the topic of chatbots. First, everyone's so excited about chatbots, generative AI. Now, I would say the statement and the market narrative is that chatbots are dead. They are not driving productivity. We're so disappointed. But again, as being contrarian, we want to say that long live the chatbots. But as you can see, the title about dead chatbots is with bigger font. So why the statement is so prevalent? There are many narratives and evidences across different companies that chatbots don't work. They accuse famous people of criminal vandalism. They swore at customers. They give criminal advices. We're talking about New York City chatbot. They hallucinate when they give medical advices. In case of Air Canada, these hallucinations, they even lead to the reimbursements done by Air Canada. So it doesn't look great as news headlines. And of course, no company wants to see their name in such news. On the other side, when we check the leaderboards and comparison all these big models with multi-billion parameters, what we see? Always over 90% factual consistency rate. Looks great, like, how it can hallucinate, how it can perform so bad. But then again, we see those numbers, statistics, science, but then we check the evidences and the headlines, and we get the whole feed full of examples over the years, how AI, generative AI, chatbots do poor job. And at Neurons Lab, we see two big clusters of the problems. First one is something that I mentioned a second ago, is factual consistency. Chatbots simply are wrong. When they are wrong factually, when they talk about the topic of your business, and they can even easily get outside of the topic of your business. You can easily detract the chatbot from your business conversation, which obviously is under non-factual umbrella. And second one, even if we solve the facts, it's a chatbot. It's at best, it can answer the questions, but we are not talking about any kind of human-like conversations, jokes, being good in sales, trying to understand you. Well, again, at best, we kind of expect the factual correctness, answering the questions, but this is not generative AI, this is not conversational AI. So at Neurons Lab, we want to say that we solved both problems, and later in this video, I want to say how we attack and target those two challenges. And to start, we have to say that we don't work with the raw large language models. We work with agent architectures. Again, everyone talks about agents, but in order to be a bit more specific in our conversation, we need to know what the agent is. Agent is not just a language model, is a set of the tools around language model, where a language model or a combination of language models, or not only language models, can serve as a brain, as a kind of main agent, and this brain has to use different tools, and these tools can be targeting, for example, nice conversation, or factualness, or the most recent information, or data processing. For example, tools can be mathematical formulas, tools can be internet search, tools can be translation. So everything that makes the behavior of the agent more deterministic, more predictable. So instead of relying on the language models, we rely on the tools. Second is memory. Again, this is something what is kind of in the air. Everyone talks about this retrieval augmented generation architectures, RAG. This is what memory is about, but there are ways to make this memory even better, and we'll talk about this as well. And the last but not least is planning. Again, planning is not just prompt engineering, because again, it's not the same as making the whole paragraph of text, the whole essay of a prompt, trying to explain your language model how to behave well, what answers to give. Instead of doing this, you might want to build the whole army of different sub-language models, each of them connected with different causal relationships, and they all together do the planning and work, and the agent as a brain is managing them. Again, It's not the same having a little army of agents and one big prompt for one large language model. This is what planning essentially is about. And here are a couple of examples of the conversations that our chatbot is having with the telecom customer. Let's look at the top left first. Here we are trying to push the chatbot to talk about stock prices, to talk about cinema, instead of talking about the, our mobile phone, our internet, whatever our account is about. And what you can notice that our bot is actually making jokes, is comparing phone signals to movie signals, so making, I would say, almost funny comparisons. It's using emojis, it's using internet language like LOL, got you, BRB. So this is a bit more human-like. It's using Gen Z language and slang, making jokes, and what's most important, it doesn't detract from the domain. If it's a telecom bot, it talks about telecom, and even in the joking way, it's leading the conversation back to the telecom conversation, not about stock prices, cinema, whatever it is. And okay, jokes aside, when we actually try to solve something with this bot, we know Generation Z, they don't like calls, they don't like going to the website, messengers is their native habitat. So when I'm out of data, I don't want to call, I don't want to press a button, I just want to go to the WhatsApp or to the messenger and say I'm out of data. And actually when we do this, you can see that the bot is saying it's a total bummer, how about this plan, it's a sweet deal, emojis, etc. And you see I'm saying that it's too expensive, I want something cheaper, and the bot is factual, it's reasoning, it's giving me another plan with less gigabytes that is cheaper, making a joke about breaking a bank. So again, being human-like, but also being factual, understanding my request, giving me another offer, and I agree, I get it, and it's buying it for me. This is, I would say, what we would expect. This is something what we want to see from the chatbot. Again, solving the two main issues. It's being factual, and it's actually looking like a conversation. And how do we do it? Apart from, having an agent. We do have an agent, that's true, but we add the three main elements. For the tools, we add style parsing. So depending on the target audience, depending on the scenario, we use different styles, which are parsed from the internet or defined by our customers. Then for the memory, we don't use just a flat vector database, because this is where a lot of mistakes are hiding. Because when you just chunk your text into pieces and put it into vector database, two pieces of text that look similar to each other but are factually different, and this factual can be, a date, a number of gigabytes, a number of SMS included. In the vector database, when it's just flattened together, it will look the same. But in the knowledge graph that builds relationships between the different plans, different tariffs, different usages patterns, it's not a flat vector database, it's actually a network with relationships, and here you cannot make such silly factual mistakes. So this is what helps us with being factually correct. And then, as I mentioned before, in the planning phase, we use a set of agents. One agent knows how to protect the conversation, another agent knows how to negotiate, another agent knows how to make jokes, and another agent knows how to close the deal, and they're collaborating together. And then there's one orchestrating agent managing them all. So this is the results we can have by having this kind of architecture. In dashboard, it may look like this. It may look like this is how you design the experience, the flow of conversation. You add a link, you parse the conversation style, for example, even as simple as from Wikipedia. Then you can manage your knowledge graph. We call it knowledge design. You can add propensity models. You can use other data sources and update your graph almost on the fly. And on the AWS level, it looks almost as simple as that. Of course, this is really high level, but you can see core pieces, core services. It's a Neptune for the graphs, Bedrock for hosting LLMs and agents, and for the voice messages, some other non-messenger inputs. We use extract and transcribe. This is it. If you want to dive deeper, if you want to see the demo, if you want to discuss with us how to make your chatbot behave similarly, let's have a meeting. Let's have a talk. Here you have a contact. QR code will lead to the LinkedIn. let's talk. Thank you and hopefully speak soon. Bye bye.